This portion of the news brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
Several patrons at a local theater had their vehicles vandalized overnight.
And now business operators are being encouraged to step up their security detail. Our Charisma Robinson spoke to one outraged victim today.
Jacqueline Smith McPhee did not want to appear on camera, but she's one of many whose vehicle was broken into Monday while catching a late-night movie at Galleria Cinemas, John F. Kennedy Drive. But she and her husband's holiday movie date was completely ruined when they realized thieves had smashed in the right window of her brand-new BMW Mini Coupe and stole her handbag.
Total of valuables that were in there, including my passport. I had monies in there, so everything valued to over $700. My vehicle is a BMW Mini Coupe, and the side that they damaged, I actually have to order that. You know, it has to be ordered, and like right now, I don't know how much it's gonna cost. So, you know, these guys put you in expense.
Business operators are now being encouraged to step up their security initiatives. Police confirmed that at least 5 vehicles parked at the R&D Plaza were broken into between 10:30 last night and 1 o'clock this morning. Officer in charge of the South Central Division, Superintendent Philip Wilson, says police are investigating these matters, but business owners must do their part.
Proprietors must come to the realization that the time is now for them to hire security personnel in their respective parking lots. The Royal Bahamas Police Force cannot police every parking lot. We do not have a policeman to post up on the interior of every parking lot.
Police are reminding the public that it is never a good idea to leave personal goods like handbags, laptop computers, and cellular phones inside a vehicle. They say it's better to be safe than sorry.
Motor vehicle owners must be mindful of when you're parking. You can't expect them to take your purse out. After you don't park, you come out of your vehicle. We have had several instances where persons whom we have arrested and all for breaking into persons' vehicle. When they are interviewed, they say, well, we saw the car pull up and we saw the woman take the purse and put it under the seat or in the trunk of the vehicle. All right. So if you're going to secure your stuff, by all means, we want you to do it prior to you pulling up to properly park your vehicle.
I would advise every other woman, leave your bag at home. You know, because even though you're hitting it underneath the seat of the car, the thieves know where to go.
Now, if you have information that can assist police with their investigations into this matter, you're asked to contact them as soon as possible. Charisma Robinson, ZNS Network News.
Well, it's a process that started 10 years ago, but plans to regain the country's airspace are now taking off. Officials said today they're now one step closer to making it a reality. In this report, find out how much the country stands to benefit.
Taking control of our airspace could mean mega bucks for the country. Minister of Transport and Aviation Glenys Hannah Martin recently returned from a meeting in Washington and said she's pleased with U.S. officials on the matter. She noted that headway was made some 10 years ago, so there's not much work left to be done.
The process was sort of stalled, but catching up now. But the main thing now would be engaging in dialogue with the United States of America. That's the main thing, because they're the ones who control the airspace, have done so for 50 years, and so that is what that's the next process, to begin engaging in this dialogue, which I am anticipating and hoping will not be for an extended period of time, because we know the issues, and so we should be able to fine-tune them.
The U.S. government has held control of our airspace for over 50 years. So the question is, could they be receptive to giving up this hold? Hannah Martin says while dialogue has been established, discussions have not gotten that far as yet.
But based on what we understand, they understand it's our airspace. They have been managing it. We haven't yet determined in the short term what the arrangement will be. The FAA is a very efficient air management service, so we don't have that fear as a Bahamian government in terms of efficiency of management of airspace.
Hannah Martin says, however, that before we can take control, there are several things that we have to do, and added that the upgrades for the airport tower and new equipment is just the start.
One of the main issues at this time is the issue that of collection of overflight fees, which is now being collected by a third state. And so that is going to be the central issue immediately. In the short term. Ultimately, the Bahamas would wish to build capacity to manage its own airspace, but that would be a process. It requires a lot of steps, including technology, manpower, search and rescue. There are a lot of things to do to build capacity for a flight information region management. But in the immediate short term, we want to normalize the relations between the two countries as it relates to the airspace.
Now, while she could not put a timeline on how long it will take to acquire our airspace, Hannah Martin says she hopes that these talks with government officials can move the process along sooner rather than later. Janae Noel Ferguson, ZNS Network News.
The Fisheries Act of the Bahamas is 36 years old and out of step with global changes in the industry. Consultation with stakeholders is set to begin on May 21st, starting here in the capital. Jimenita Swain was recently in South Andros, where she spoke with the UK consultant selected to develop the new legislation.
The wheels are in motion to update the country's archaic fisheries laws, and through an E-funded grant of more than $160,000, UK consultant Chris Headley has taken on that awesome task.
We're looking at creating the right system and the right range of powers for the department to be able to manage, control and regulate the fisheries properly. So, for example, we'll be looking at, in particular, the question of enforcement and control, and making sure that the department has all the right powers when illegal fishing is detected to take action and to prosecute guilty fishers.
Headley and senior economist with the Department of Fisheries, Gregory Bethel, were recently in South Andros engaging in pre-consultative meetings. The first session will start in New Providence on May 22nd and into every major family island, ending on May 31st in Sandy Point, Abaco.
Take into account what we hear at these consultations and draft a new Fisheries Act, which will then be put out for a national consultation. And then in September we'll be back in the Bahamas to review the results of the national consultation and hold a workshop to produce a final draft act, which we can then leave with the Department of Marine Resources to make recommendations for taking the act into law.
Bethel explained that the Draft Act of 1998 is being used as a guide. He outlined some of the challenges, aside from poaching, already raised by those in the fishing industry.
In the case of persons in the north, it's the sport fishers, recreational sport fishers, who go over their bag limits. So then there's the issue of foreign workers in the industry, marriages of convenience, okay, which would provide foreigners with licenses or permits to engage in the commercial fishing industry. Government's policy over the years has been one whereby the commercial fishing industry of the Bahamas is an exclusive fishery for Bahamian nationals, and only Bahamian nationals.
This should be welcome news for fishermen who feel like their voices are not heard as they continually sound the alarm on those who violate the country's fishing industry. Jimenita Swain, ZNS Network News.
Well, so to come tonight, two Bahamians playing in the upcoming LPGA tournament. Find out what this means for the country.
And one community battles a forest fire just feet away from their homes. Find out more coming up. You're watching The Bahamas Tonight.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
This is your Royal Fidelity Business News. I'm Jimenita Swain. A new World Bank report is predicting that the Caribbean will be among developing countries dominating global saving and investment. The World Bank's Global Development Horizon report reveals that by 2030, half the global stock of capital, totaling $158 trillion, will reside in developing countries. It says this is compared to less than one-third today, with countries in East Asia, Latin America, and the Caribbean accounting for the largest shares. The report, titled Capital for Future, Saving and Investment in an Interdependent World, explores patterns of investment, saving, and capital flows. The report cites increased productivity, increasing integration into global markets, sound macroeconomic policies, improved education, and health as determining factors. Commonwealth Brewery execs are concerned over the level of alcohol smuggling happening in the country. With a small decline in sales, particularly with spirits, CBL bosses suspect some retailers may be getting the same brands from what they call parallel importers. The situation hasn't affected CBL sales, however, with the company holding steady in sales for the first quarter of 2013. Traditionally, the first quarter of the year is slow for the sale of beer and wines in the country, with a slight boost coming from the spring break crowd. The second and third quarters are where the money is made. These periods cover the summer and regatta seasons, respectively. And while Apple may be the world's most valuable company, that didn't stop U.S. lawmakers from grilling the company's CEO over a complicated ownership setup that allows the bulk of the company's earnings to be held by an Irish subsidiary. Defending the company, CEO Timothy Cook said that Apple paid every single cent owed in taxes. He added that the company merely takes advantage of the U.S. tax code. How much does Apple avoid having to pay annually? Over $7.7 billion. That was your Royal Fidelity Business News. I'm Jiminita Swing.